When the president and I met a bit over a year ago, just after we'd been designated for these roles by the conference, we talked through various ideas over quite a few cups of tea. And we arrived at this verse from Isaiah 1: learn to do right, seek justice, and defend the oppressed. I've reflected on this now. I've been sitting with this verse now for some time. And one of the things that continues to strike me is that this is nothing new for us. These exhortations from Isaiah are woven into our history as a denomination and in what we do now. I'm sure many of us can think back to conference reports and initiatives that go back over the years, and the more recent pieces of work: Justice Seeking Church work, the Justice, Dignity and Solidarity work, the Theology of Safeguarding report, and the study materials that go with it. To me, all of this work reflects the three key rules that John Wesley spoke about in the early days of the Methodist movement: do no harm, do all the good you can, and attend to the ordinances of God. These golden threads should weave through all that we do as individuals and as an organisation, the Methodist Church that we are all part of. The joy of being a connectional church is, however, the rich diversity that makes up who we are. This is something that I'm appreciating more and more this year, as I have the benefit of visiting so many places, encountering so many different people in so many different roles. And this includes being part of this gathering this evening. As chaplains, you sit in a somewhat different space. You have a role of getting alongside people in such varied contexts. Doors are opened to you in unique ways. It's like you're a guest in someone else's space. You're working and ministering with the permission of someone else's organisation. In my mind, that feels a little bit like the difference between being in your own home and staying in with someone else in their home. In your own home, you can wander around, sort out, tidy up, and you spot things that need to be done. You know what bin day is. Well, sometimes anyway. You can fix something when it needs sorting, pull weeds where you see them. But if you're staying in someone else's home, you may still be able to tidy up, pull weeds and fix things. But at each point, you need to check with the host that this is okay, and whether there's a way that they would like this to be done. You need to know where the boundaries are. The routines of the household are never quite as clear, and it's anyone's guess when bin day is. The organisations you work with and alongside have welcomed you into their space to work and minister. But you're working with the permission of someone else's organisation and their routines and systems and structures. The question then may be asked is how you learn to do right, seek justice and defend the oppressed when working in this slightly different space. How are you that prophetic voice in someone else's home? This exhortation by Isaiah can be enough of a challenge within our home space, the home space of our own churches, circuits and districts, but can require a particular set of skills when we work and minister as a guest in someone else's space. Pastoral mission is also a mission to challenge injustice and the misuse of power in the organisations, as well as ministering to the people we encounter. This is something that we are all called to do, but as chaplains, I imagine this presents its own particular challenges and opportunities for you. I would so wholeheartedly encourage you in what you are doing. In my day job as a DSO, I see the huge benefits of working with those in different chaplaincy roles, prisons, mental health, hospitals, to name but three. And on Saturday, I had the privilege of spending some time with Peter Taylor and his chaplaincy work in the shopping centre in the Nottingham and Derby district. I saw firsthand the gentle but effective pastoral conversations with staff in the shops and the opportunities that are opening up in this work with those that some might consider to be on the margins of faith. Throughout the Gospels, we have story after story of Jesus the teacher turning up on the margins and talking to people like Zacchaeus. Jesus was all about heaven breaking into our world. He didn't just say, love your neighbour. He did it. He shared food. He talked with, he walked with, and included in miracles those on the edges, those on the margins. In his life and teaching, he called it the kingdom of God and pointed to it growing in the world. He grounded the love of God right here on earth, and here to include all, however much they felt on the outside. Did Zacchaeus see this where others around him maybe did not? The gospel writers said that Zacchaeus was happy to welcome Jesus, but the crowd began to grumble. In this action by Jesus, the person from the outside had his life transformed by the words and actions of Jesus. Isaiah calls us to defend the oppressed or challenge the oppressor. This is a challenge to us to turn our eyes outward, turn our eyes around and look outwards. Jesus spent much of his time gathering to himself the people that society and the religion of the day had ignored. There is a power in standing in solidarity with those on the edges, the outside, the marginalised, the oppressed. A challenge to make space and quiet for voices to be heard. While you may encounter some difficulties and frustrations by working and ministering in spaces overseen by other organisations, you also have that chance to bring the light of the love of God to people in the everyday of their lives. That sense of the kingdom of God here with us. So I pray a continued blessing for you all. A thanks for the work you do. A thanks for the work that you do in your many and varied contexts. Thank you.